How's it going?
Good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Matthew, where are you playing out of here?
Jamul Casino in
Oh,
San Diego area?
Jamul Casino. Jamul. Oh, this is a pretty good one, right? This is a big pot, right? If I remember
Yes,
correctly. Yeah. All right.
it is.
Where's Jamul? I never went. I know it's an Indian casino, right, in California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes east of downtown San Diego.
30 minutes east of downtown San Diego. Okay. And what is the game size you're playing here?
It's a 5-10 game, 3K max buy-in with a matcha stack.
Wow. 510, 3K max match. Right.
Yep. And it gets pretty deep later in the night. It's not uncommon to see people over 10K in the game. So this villain is an unknown player. He comes in, and I'm guessing he was there was a Run Good Poker series coming through, and one of the main event flights was that night. So I'm guessing he just busted from that. He said he could only play for an hour, and then he bought in for 8K.
Okay. So he's like a gambler or something like that.
Yeah, he was very active from the get-go. First hand he played, he opened 4-bet. Even the short time he'd been at the table, he'd 3-bet more than his fair share of pot. So I definitely got the feeling that he was an action player.
Okay.
So we're 6K effective, and villain straddles under the gun for 20.
So 6K effective and plus, so it's 5, 10, 20.
Yep.
Okay.
A mid-position player opens to 50, button calls. I'm in the big blind with ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds.
Hero in big blind with ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds. MP to 50, that's kind of little bit of a small
Yeah.
open, right?
Yep, it was a little small for a straddled hand.
Yeah.
And then here, I definitely think I opened 3-bet here too small. I was talking with another player about this, and I 3-bet to 180, but I'm thinking it should have probably been over 200 for sure, if not closer to 250 here, especially with the straddle on.
Right. So you're in the middle blind with ace jack of diamonds. You got a clear cut squeeze here. Right. I mean, if
Yep.
you went to 4x plus the call, it would be to 250.
Yeah.
How deep are these guys? I know you said 6K effective. Everybody's got 6K.
I think all the other players in the hand had me covered.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely go larger here. You said you went to how
Yeah.
much?
I went to 180.
Yeah, that's a little bit on the small side. I mean, that's not even,
Agreed.
I mean, that's just over, 3x. So 3-bet to 180. Okay.
The villain calls in the straddle, and then the other two players call.
So the straddle takes it cold, 3 cold.
Yep,
Okay. Straddle calls, and then the other two call as well?
correct.
Wow.
So it's 725 going to the flop.
Wow. So 725, 3-bet pot. You're out of position, 6K effective at 510 plus 20. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
The flop is 4 of hearts, 9 of clubs, ace of clubs.
Ace of clubs, 9 of clubs, 4 of hearts, right? So you flop top pair.
Yep. I lead for 375.
So hero bets 375. Let's think about the sizing here. Ace 9 4, a couple clubs. You've kind of got a recreational player here in the straddle. MP had opened, overcalls, and then the button overcalls. You would think that the button probably he should be doing a whole lot of 3-betting with like a hand like ace queen or ace king.
Right.
MP, kind of similar to previous call. I mean, he should have a fairly robust 4-bet squeezing range too. And I mean, he's got a dead flat call in between, right, from the straddle.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking he's 4-betting ace king almost 100% of the time.
I mean, I would do it with ace queen and all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only player I'm really worried about having like ace king, ace queen against me is maybe the straddle, and even him, I expect to 4-bet at least ace king, maybe flat ace queen.
I think I would like a smaller bet here. I just feel like if you come
Okay.
out swinging here, it's not that textured that you're just going to get a whole lot of folds here. It's a multi-way theory. I mean, maybe like 250, something like that. 375 might be a little bit on the large side. Now, if you say like this guy on my left is going to call with any suited ace anyways, and I'm just trying to get money from him, maybe. And then maybe these other guys could be like double flatting with suited aces. It just seems to be a tad on the large side in a 3-bet pot, 4 ways.
Okay.
It's just a tad on the large side. You go 375.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the straddle calls, other two players fold.
All right. So straddle calls.
Yep.
That's pretty
it's
good.
14
I mean, you like that spot, right?
Definitely.
So now the pot is what, 1475?
1475 to the turn.
Yeah.
And the jack of spades comes giving me top two.
Wow. Jack of spades on the turn. So you got ace jack, ace 9-4, turn is a jack, hero with ace jack. Not a whole lot you're going to be scared of here, maybe with the exception of if he has like pocket nines or something like that, right?
Well, even that, like, I almost suspect like sets on the flop to be, re-raising me with two more players to act behind with a flush draw out there.
Maybe, but I mean, I could see call. I mean, the pot's going to get pretty big here anyways. I mean, I could see people slow playing like 9-9 there. But I mean, yeah, I'm okay. Turns a jack of spades, okay.
So I lead for 675.
So hero bets 675. Now you guys started 6K effective. So, I mean, I would be thinking about what I could do to build the pot up as much as possible. It really kind of depends on how recreational you think that this guy is. I mean, the worst case scenario is if you come out blasting and he somehow folds an ace. But the setup here, though, with this guy, he did take 2 cold. I mean, 3-bet cold, right? He took a 3-bet cold. I mean, he could be ending up with some ace queen, ace king here some of the time, too. I'm just trying to think of how often I think he's calling with like ace 7 suited or something like that. If it leans him towards having a bigger ace, I very well might go larger. The other thing that kind of popped out of my head, and I'm not saying this is a good play necessarily just because it might look so strong. Sometimes when you have this stacked up, you can do things, you need to do certain things to maneuver pot size. Like, did you ever consider possibly going for a check raise here on the turn?
No, I mean, I wanted to make sure I got value here, and he didn't like just check behind with some sort of draw or
I think that and I actually tend to agree with that. The reason why I wouldn't go for a check raise here is because ace queen might actually check behind here. Ace queen, ace 10. Once the pocket's this big, people get antsy with one pair hands. So I just threw it out there at you. It's something that we see in single raise pots. I would not do that, but I would still go larger though. I would have bet more like 1,000 here. Something like that. The other thing too is that the other portion of his hand that he might have here might be like a Broadway club draw, which now either pairs up or turns a combo draw, right? King, queen of clubs, king, 10 of clubs. He's always calling those bets.
Yep, there's a lot of Broadway club draws. Actually, all the Broadway club draws pick up some sort of equity, either a gut shot or open-ended or a pair. So
I just don't think. I think if you bet 900 to 1,000 here, he's still not folding like ace 10 plus. I mean, it really depends on how recreational. But I mean, from that background though, from what you said, like in the beginning, that's why I would go larger. But you go 675, okay.
And at that point, so I'm in the 9 seat and Villain's in the 1 seat. He looks around the dealer at my stack and asks me, do I have any other big chips on the other side?
Uh-huh.
So in the moment, I kind of read this as, how much can I get paid if I call and hit?
Right.
Was how I interpreted that.
Or sometimes people do that as like a technique to like just kind of slow you down or something like that. What's funny is that this is kind of the annoying thing about live poker, especially with the setup and the 9 or the 1. If I say that to somebody, it's just because I can't see their fucking chips. And people sometimes take it like, oh, I don't know what I have. I mean, this is why sometimes online poker is actually easier to play because you know exactly how much everybody has. And back in the day, God, when they used to allow cash on the table, it was awful because you never knew how much money anybody had. You go 675. Okay, he kind of looks at your stack, asks you, are you playing any more big chips?
Yep. He then calls. So it's 28-25 going to the river.
28-25 to the river. You guys have put in 1,050 plus, like over 12. So you still have like 4,800 left, right? In your stack?
Yep. Still deep behind. So
ace of clubs, 9 of clubs, 4 of hearts, turns the jack of spades. Okay.
Now the turn is a 9 of spades.
The river's the 9 of spades.
The river. The river's the 9 of spades.
River's the 9 of spades. Okay. So the club doesn't come in.
Correct.
Yep.
And at this point, I'm trying to put him on any kind of 9 other than pocket 9s that gets to the river.
No, the 9 should be irrelevant here. I mean, unless he's just like the biggest drooler in the world. But I mean, he's called flop next back with 2 guys behind him in a 3-bet pot. He's called turn, even though you didn't size up that much. The 9 it's just not. It's not going to be the only thing that the 9 does is that it makes it somehow less likely. Well, you lose to ace 9 here. And
Right.
I would look back at you. So you got the ace of diamonds in your hand, the
There's
club.
only one.
Yeah,
There's only one combo of ace nine suited hearts
right.
that's out there.
There's one combo. Right.
Yeah, and even that, I'm not sure he's flatting cold calling a 3-bet out of position 4 ways pre-flop.
And then the other hands that you lose to here, because I kind of sense maybe where this one is going. The other hands that you lose to that might be played this way that might show aggression here at the end if you bet or something like that, where this one might be going would be what? Obviously quad nines, pocket jacks, pocket fours, and ace nine. The thing about that though is that if you show this much aggression, sometimes those hands just call through when you go bet, like pocket fours. So I wouldn't expect to get raised here all that much. Now, in terms of sizing, again, I would have gone larger on the turn, and I would have then thought that he probably has ace 10 plus, and I would try to extract. And then I would think that he might lean more towards like having ace queen, ace king here. Somebody in the live chat said he could never have ace queen, ace king because he didn't 4-bet pre. This is a recreational guy. He's taking 3 cold. You see a lot of guys, cold call with ace king off, ace queen. So, I mean, that's what I would be trying to target here. So I like 1800.
Okay. I actually went smaller. I went 875.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 875. Wow, you're really trying to squeak it out, huh?
Yeah, and the other thing is, I was talking to someone else about this, about is it actually better here to check in regard to all those club Broadway draws. If I check here, are probably might turn their hand into a bluff, right? So even if they have a pair of jacks, they have to know that's no good at showdown.
I hate that play. A jack is going to check back always. You're not going to get. You've shown so much.
You think the lead is the right play?
Yeah, but if you count the combos of Broadway flush draws, there's just more high ace X here that I want to get value from, and there's no guarantee that he's going to bluff with those hands.
Right.
So I mean, personally, I would have gone larger and larger. But you see what I'm saying? Like 875. I mean, the time to go 875 versus 1800 would be somehow if you think. I mean, ace 10. I guess the kicker doesn't play anymore. But I still think that this guy's got some ace queen, some ace king, stuff like that. And I want to extract as much value here.
Right.
So
okay. Well, I led for 875. The villain thinks about it for a bit, and then he shoves.
Wow, how much does he shove for?
So I have another just under 3,900 behind. So the pot's 84.
So he's shoving for like 4,800 total, right?
Yeah. So the pot's like 84.70, and I have like 3,900 behind.
84.70, 3,900-ish to call. So you're getting just over...
A little better than 2 to 1.
I mean, the only thing that I will say is that you did size kind of small on these spots.
Right, and that's part of what I thought about, too, in the situation was I led so small on the river that did I induce him into bluffing here, especially with some of those club draws that missed or know they have no showdown value. And I had like I said, really aren't any nines I can put him on. The pocket fours, maybe, though I expect him to like raise the flop there. I block ace, and jack, and ace is almost 100% of a 4-bet.
Of course. No, he's not going to show up.
Jack is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to show up with ace. I mean, the thing about your hand here's the thing. The thing about your hand, you're never beating any value range that he's ever jamming with. I don't think. The thing,
right.
The one thing that you got going for your hand here is that you block jack. That, I could see a rec player taking 3 cold, 2 cold with jack, and then just continuing on the flop just for whatever reason. And then they but you block that. So there's one combo of jack.
Also ace jack, he might jam as well, knowing that he blocks aces and jacks. He might also jam ace jack himself.
Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know if I'd necessarily give him that credit. Again, I would look at the suits there. You've got diamonds, there's a spade and a club out there. So there's only one combo, right? Ace jack of hearts.
Yep.
And then he's got Yeah, he's got maybe some 9-9 here too, but I feel like 9-9 is going to do some raising at some point, right?
Yep. Yep.
But then what do you find here for a bluff? You know what I mean? What do you find here for a bluff? I mean, you're getting.
I mean, king, queen clubs, king, jack clubs, queen, jack of clubs. Those are really the only ones. I don't think he's calling pre with queen 10 or king 10 of clubs. Maybe jack 10 of clubs. I mean, but there's only like, what's that, four bluffs.
Yeah, I mean, I see some chatter I mean, I'm all for overfolding like in live poker, but if you gave me this backstory about this guy, he's kind of splashing around, and I would not arrive here with this type of sizing as played like you did. But the
Yeah.
one thing I'm going to go back to though is that your sizing seems kind of weak. So if it's close, I'm going to call just because it kind of screams like 875. You know, it's not like you went 2,500 with 10K behind and then he jammed, or you bet 3,000 and then he jammed. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
I mean, the hand that makes, I don't know if there's any hand that here makes a whole lot of sense. Because again, I think 9-9 does a lot of raising turn. Could say the same thing maybe about Jack. 4-4, does he even take 3 cold there? I would be shocked if somebody could a guy ever think that Ace King is good here and jam because of the hero's small sizing? I mean,
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I kind of do. Even if it's a small sizing, you start to get into like absolute bet sizing and the size of the pot. So, I mean, I would probably flick in the call just from that backstory and the small sizing that you have used here. Something might be going on.
Yeah, and I did. I ended up calling when the pot was ended up being 12,365, and he turned over pocket fours.
Pocket fours.
Yep.
And he waded to the river.
Yeah.
To jam on.
Yeah. And that's probably what got him paid, because I mean, I don't.
Here, how about this? Oh, I'm going to throw something out at you here too.
Okay.
Matt, we don't think about this. You know how I said I like 17,800? Remember, go back to the turn, right? It's 2,800. You know how I said I like 1,800 on the river? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does 1,800, if we're still getting called by Ace King, Ace Queen, do you think if I went 1,800 on the river that he might just call with 4-4?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible, because he's got to be worried about aces and jacks there.
You know, sometimes you get the best of both worlds by getting addition from a guy that calls too much, but won't really like raise back as a bluff. Sometimes you get the best of both worlds where you get extra value from worse, and you don't face a situation here where you get raised.
Yeah.
If you have a hand that you were going to raise call with. Because I had said that back in the top of the call. I mean, the sizing that I would have liked here would have been slightly smaller on the flop, larger on turn. But then if I got to river, I would still be betting. I mean, if you had gone 1,000, like I said, on turn, the pot's 3,500. And then at that point, you guys have like 4,400 left instead of 4,800. And then you go like 2,200 on river. I think he's just going to call down. I think he's probably just going to call down.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, but I think I would call if I were you. But thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it.